Good morning, children. This is KG Misra. Again, I have come with the next part of the video of class 10th on the chapter magnetic effects of current. Okay. Before starting, I hope that all of you are well and fine, and all of you are studying properly. Okay, for a bright future. See, actually, till in the last class we have discussed the electromagnetic induction. Okay, and what is how it happens. Okay, now today we will discuss activity on that. Okay, so the same activity, see, there is a coil. This coil is connected to a galvanometer, and there is a bar magnet, okay, whose north and south pole is there, and it is being moved towards the coil. Okay, this is an activity. Okay, so you just draw first and then we'll start writing. Draw this. Drawn. Okay, now start writing. Let us consider a coil. Sorry, let us take a coil connected with a galvanometer, and let us take a bar magnet. Okay, now written this much. After that, now we will write in steps. Okay, at the first step, when the bar magnet is kept stationary away from the coil, no deflection is observed in the galvanometer, comma, it means there is no induced current in the coil. Okay, now second point, when the north pole of the bar magnet, why I am saying north pole, because see, north pole is towards this coil. Okay, when the north pole of the bar magnet is moved towards the coil continuously, then galvanometer shows deflection in one direction. Full stop. This indicates that there is induced current in the coil in a particular direction. Okay, now write the next step. Okay, as soon as the coil reaches inside, if the coil is stopped, if the as soon as the bar magnet reaches inside the coil, comma, if the coil is stopped in the if the bar magnet is stopped in the coil, then galvanometer shows no deflection. Full stop. It means that no current is induced. Right? Now write the next step. When the bar magnet is moved out of the coil, then galvanometer shows deflection in opposite direction. Full stop. Continue in the same point. This indicates that induced current is there in the coil, but flowing in the opposite direction. Okay, full stop. Now write the conclusion. Conclusion of this activity is that when there is relative motion between the coil and the magnet, then induced current is produced in the coil. Okay, and when there is no relative motion between coil and magnet, then no induced current is produced. Clear? Very nice. Okay. Now see, we are going to study Fleming's right hand rule. Okay. Before starting this, let me tell you what is the use of this. See, till now we have studied about two rules. Okay. First, we have studied about the right hand thumb rule. Right hand thumb rule is used for what? It is used for finding the direction of magnetic field if the direction of current is known. Okay. Now, next we have studied Fleming's left hand rule. Fleming's left hand rule is for what? It is for finding the direction of force acting on a current carrying conductor when it is placed in a magnetic field. Clear? Very nice. Now this Fleming's right hand rule, it is used to find the direction of induced current. Okay, clear? It is used for finding the direction of induced current. Okay, now how it is used? First we have to write this rule. Okay, so note down the heading. Noted? Okay, let us start writing. It states that when the thumb, comma, index finger and middle finger are stretched in mutually perpendicular direction, comma, such that the index finger is along the direction of magnetic field, thumb is along the direction of motion of the coil or conductor. Okay, and then the middle finger gives the direction of induced current. Then the middle finger gives the direction of induced current. Just remember, index finger is along the direction of magnetic field, thumb is along the direction of motion of the conductor, then middle finger gives the direction of induced current in that conductor. Clear? You might be thinking why conductor is moving. I have told you in the last video that you may move magnet, you may move the coil. Okay, so obviously coil is made out of conductor. You cannot have a wooden coil because in wooden coil no current will flow. Okay, so I will give you an example how to find it. Just see. So again this thing is same. See, it is father, mother, child. F means force. See, the direction in which the force will be acting, in that direction only conductor will move. Okay, so when there is a motion, obviously the force is acting in that direction, but this time it is not magnetic force, it is force applied by us. Okay, by some other means, and this is magnetic field. Okay, obviously this is the magnetic field of the magnet, and this is the induced current. So father, mother, child. Father force, that is direction of motion, mother magnetic field, child means C for current. Clear? And if you're not able to make like this, you can just do like this, strain gun. Okay, it will help you to make it. Clear? Nice. Now see what happens. Suppose here the magnetic field is there inside the board. Okay, this is direction of magnetic field. You might be wondering why sir has kept this arrow. This arrow indicates that magnetic field is a vector quantity. Clear? Now you have got a wire. This is a wire, and this wire is falling due to gravity in this region through the magnetic field. Okay, magnetic field is there, and through this magnetic field it is falling in downward direction. So what is the direction of motion? This is direction of motion. Okay, this is my right hand. I'm going to make it like this. Direction of motion is downward. Magnetic field is inside the board. See, this is the magnetic field. Index finger inside the board. Thumb, direction of motion of conductor, downward. Middle finger is indicating which direction? In that direction. That means induced current will be there in this direction. Got it? Now, Let us take the another case. This is case 1. Another case. Suppose same is the situation, same magnetic field, same conductor. Only the thing is that this is magnetic field, this is the conductor. This time conductor is moving in upward direction. Let's see what will the direction of current in this conductor. Induced current. Okay. So again, Fleming's right hand rule. This is direction of motion, upward. Okay. Magnetic field inside. You can see the middle finger is this side. This is magnetic field, index finger. This is the thumb, direction of motion. This is the middle finger, indicating direction of induced current. So current will be produced in this direction. Okay. So in this way, we can find out the direction of induced current using Fleming's right hand rule. That's why this rule is given. It's very important. And these rules are asked every year in the board examination as well as in the other examinations also. Okay. So our next heading is electric generator. Okay. Note down the heading first. Noted. Then we have to write working principle. Okay. Written working principle. Now start writing. It works on the principle of electromagnetic induction. It works on the principle of electromagnetic induction. You know what is electromagnetic induction? Okay. So right, it works on the principle of electromagnetic induction. Clear? Now, after this, what you will do? Next is the construction. Okay. Now see, actually before going to the construction, let me tell you, generator is of two types, AC and DC. Okay. But AC is there in our syllabus. Okay. DC is not in our syllabus. Okay. So need not to worry about it. About AC and DC. Okay. See, the construction of a motor and generator is similar. Okay. Only the difference is that, see, this part of the coil, see, it is connected to a ring, and see, this wire is passing through this, but it is not touching this coil, this ring at all. Okay. Clear? These are the slip rings. Okay. You can write it R1 and R2. Two rings are there. R1 ring. Okay. It is connected to this part, but it is not touching this wire. Remember, this wire is just passing through its center. Okay. Not without touching. And ring R2 is connected to this part of the wire. Okay. Now see, this is the brush B1. Brush is actually, it is a piece of metal or graphite piece. Okay. Which is fixed with here, and it is just touching this, because this is going to move. No? This coil is going to move. So it is just touching like this. Like this. Okay. Because if you bind this, then it will rotate and it will, what it will do? It will like this. See, let me tell you. Suppose you are going to connect it, no? Suppose you are going to connect it, then what will happen? This is the wire you are going to connect it. So when it will rotate, what it will do? It will wrap up like this, no? It will wrap up like this. Okay, it will wrap up and then it will break the wire. So you cannot connect it. Okay. So what we do? We used to put here a brush like this. So when it is rotating, it will just touch like this, so that current can pass through it. At the same time, it will not break also. What my point? So it is, you can see this is the rectangular type, no? That's why it becomes difficult to slide over it. But if it is circular like ring, then it becomes very easy to slide over it. Clear? So that's why it is called slip ring, because this brush is going to slip over it, and this brush is going to slip over it. Clear? Now, how it is going to produce this current? Okay. This magnet produces magnet poles. Obviously, it has got south pole also. South pole is the side, but we don't have to worry about it because it is not used over here. And this also has got north pole this side, but it is not used by us. Okay, only the north pole of this and south pole of this is used. Now the question comes, why it is curved? It is curved so that all the magnetic field lines will go in this region and density of lines will be high, so the magnetic field will be very strong. Got it? That's why we have got curved magnetic poles. Okay. Now, how this current is induced? Let us name it, okay? A, B, C, D. Okay. Now, suppose we are going to rotate it in this direction. We are going to rotate it like this. When we will rotate it like this, that means we are going to pull it in this direction. Okay. When we will pull, this is direction of motion. What is direction of magnetic field? Not to south, that direction, towards that side. Okay. So that is direction of magnetic field. Okay, magnetic field is in that direction. Motion, it is towards you. Okay. So current will be in, induced current will be in which direction? Upward direction. So current will be produced in upward direction. Got it? Okay. What about this? This part is along the direction of magnetic field, so now current will be produced. Okay. What about this part? See, when you are rotating like this, flipping like this, so this part is going inward, inside. Getting my point? When you are rotating like this, it is coming outside and this is going inside. Okay. So direction of motion is inside, but magnetic field is in that direction. So this is magnetic field in that direction. Motion is inside. So current is downward. So current is coming like this. So current flows like this, okay? And it flows. So now current is coming from this side, and we know that from wherever the current is coming, that is known as positive terminal. So this brush is going to behave as a positive terminal, and wherever current goes, that behaves as a negative terminal. So this will behave as a negative terminal. Okay. Now why the current is produced in this? Is really the flux is changing when this is rotated? Yes, changing. I can show you. Okay, see here. Suppose this is a rectangular coil. Okay. Now what will happen? Two poles of magnet is there. Suppose this side one pole is there. My left side, suppose it is south pole. My right side, it is north pole. So magnetic lines of force are coming from this side and going to that side. Coming from my right side and going to my left side. Clear? Now, when it is like this, is there any flux passing through this? No. Because this is the coil, no? So how it can pass through this? The lines are going like this. So not crossing this surface, okay? Now what will happen? As we will start rotating, some lines will pass, even more lines will pass, even more lines will pass, even more lines will pass, and now maximum lines will pass. That means flux is increasing gradually, okay? And we know that when flux is changing, increasing or decreasing, then what happens? Current is induced. Clear? Again, if you further rotate, flux is decreasing, 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 now zero. Clear? So in this way, flux keeps on changing. It increases and decreases. Okay. What you are saying? Oh, correct. Good. So you want to say that, sir, first flux was increasing, so direction of current should be in one direction. And when flux is decreasing, the direction of current should be in the opposite direction. Yes, you are right. It happens. When the flux is increasing, then direction of current is in a particular direction. And when the flux decreases, then direction of current gets reversed. And that's why what we find, so working you can write by yourself, okay? So what we find actually, see, the current which is produced, here we have taken time along x-axis, okay? Along y-axis we have taken the current, okay? This current doesn't remain constant. This is origin, this is y-axis. What you will find, current increases, becomes maximum. And then current decreases, becomes zero. And then direction of the current is reversed and increases, becomes maximum. And then current decreases, becomes zero. Okay? See, started from zero, increases, becomes maximum, then decreases and becomes zero, and then again increases, becomes, changes the direction, okay? Because see, this is negative y-axis, becomes maximum, and decreases, becomes zero. Okay, so it is changing the direction. And this is what? This is AC current, because this is AC generator. AC current is not constant. It always changes its value at every point of time. Okay, so in this way, this is AC current. This keeps on fluctuating. Okay. Now it is something like wave. You studied in class 9th. Yes. Now it should have some frequency also. Yes. Our household current, it has got frequency of 50 hertz. Okay, what is the frequency of our household supply which you are getting at home? That is 50 hertz. And what is the potential difference? Potential difference is how much? It is 220 volt. Okay, that is average. So current is fluctuating. In the same way, potential difference also changes. Okay, if you take the potential difference, suppose you are taking potential difference, that will also change in the same way. Okay, now here we should compare this AC and DC. This is AC, this is AC alternating current. We call AC means it is alternating current. Why alternating? Because see, this is alternating. After this, what will happen? If you draw again even further, what you will find? Let us coming again. So between these two, this is alternate. Okay, okay. That's why we call it alternating current. Now, what about in DC, direct current? See here. I think you have drawn this by the slide. I will tell you what about the DC current. Okay, something about DC current. See, time is there along the x-axis and current is there. Okay, along y-axis. So what you will find? The current is constant. It is not changing. That's what happens with the DC. If you are taking potential difference, it is also constant. So either you take current or you take potential difference. Both are constant in case of DC. Direct current. Direct current we receive from battery, cell. Okay. And alternating current we get from household supply or our generators. Okay. Clear? You have seen the construction of generator, no? Same is the construction of that turbine. Okay. The turbine is connected, similar generator, and it produces electricity. And that's why turbine is rotated, because you have to rotate the coil. What about the generators which is used in our houses or in the offices or in the marriage parties? Okay, in that generator the coil is rotated with the help of a diesel motor. Okay, for that what we do? We used to put diesel inside that, and that diesel is consumed, and that diesel is consumed to rotate or start a motor, and that motor rotates the coil, and when coil is rotated, electricity is produced. Okay, so we use different means to rotate that coil. In hydropower plants, what happens? The coil is rotated, coil is connected to the turbine, and turbine is rotated with the speed of, with the help of falling water or flowing water. Okay, in thermal power plants, the coil is connected to the turbine and turbine is rotated with using the pressure of the steam. Okay, so in this way we rotate in different ways and we get the AC. So this is AC and DC. What is the advantage of AC? What is the frequency of DC? Its frequency is 0, because see, no change. So what is, where is frequency? No frequency at all. Now see here, so it has got no frequency. Now why AC is actually more preferable? Why? Because out of AC, suppose out of 220 volt, if you want to take 5 volt, you can use your adapter of 5 volt to get the 5 volt potential difference from there, and you can utilize it. But in case of DC, you cannot do that. If it is of suppose 10 volt, so you will have utilize 10 volt only. Okay, it cannot be changed. Getting my point? Okay. So that's why AC is both preferred. Okay. Okay, now some disadvantages of AC over DC. See, AC, first we know it is very harmful. Okay, if we can get shock out of it. Okay. Second thing is that we can get shocked. Okay, if we are touching it. Okay, it can give shock to us, and it can also take the life also. Okay. Second point is that no, AC cannot be used for electroplating, which you have studied in chemistry. Okay, electroplating or electrolysis. Okay, we use battery for that, not AC. Okay, And next thing is that AC does not travel through the core of the wire. It doesn't travel from the wire, okay? It travels from the surface of the wire, okay? Through the surface of the wire, okay? So it is more dangerous, that's why. Now, next is your domestic electrical circuits, okay? What happens in the domestic electrical circuits? Actually, you see, these devices are connected in parallel. In electrical circuits, if we are talking, then devices are connected in parallel. They are not connected in series. Why? Because we know that in series, if they are connected and when one device is switched off, then all will switch off. Okay. And one more thing, the first device will get the proper potential difference, and the remaining will get the lesser potential difference. So all will not work, and that's why we connect them in parallel. Because in parallel, all the devices get equal potential difference, so they all work properly. And if you are once switching off one, then other will not get switched off. Okay, that is the advantage of using parallel combination. Okay, and now in that, what you will find, already we have discussed in the previous chapter, no? There is a diagram is given in your NCRT, okay, of this household circuit that you must draw. Okay, sometimes in the examinations they used to ask to draw it. Okay, it has got three wires, that is live, I have already have told, live wire, neutral wire, and earthing wire is there. Okay, and fuse, all I have told you, overloading I have told you. Okay, and then short circuiting also I have told you. Okay, these all the things are in this chapter also. Okay, okay, see in this chapter, no, basically the rules, that is like right hand thumb rule, Fleming's left hand rule, Fleming's right hand rule, these rules are very important. They used to ask to write the rule as well as the use of rule. Okay, how you use this. So they used to give the question to find the to write that what is the direction of induced current, okay, or what is the direction of in which force is acting when a conductor is placed in a magnetic field, okay, or when current is flowing through a conductor, then what is the direction of magnetic field by right hand thumb rule. Okay, so they used to ask, okay, in this type of questions. And also they ask about different processes like electromagnetic induction. Okay, like they used to ask to write the to draw the pattern of magnetic field lines for a current carrying conductor, straight conductor, circular conductor. Okay, they used to ask to write the activity for this. Okay, so activities already we have discussed, and if for further studies you can just check your NCRT, the activity is given and you can go through it. Okay, if you find any difficulty, then we can discuss it. Okay, I think you should note down those activities also. Okay, that is very important. This chapter has got all the theoretical question. There is no numerical asked in the board examination from this chapter. Okay, so many of the children find it very easy, but practice and learning is required if you want to score better, because lots of questions are asked from this chapter. Numericals basically come from the first chapter, that is electricity, in which we have done it. Okay, they used to ask to find the equivalent resistance or potential difference, okay, or current or heat produced. Okay, these things are asked to calculate in that. In this they ask about what is fuse, what is overloading, okay, like these type of questions. Okay, okay, with this, thank you children. In the next video I will come with the solution of the NCERT questions. Okay, till then keep on studying, take care of yourself, bye bye.